This is Mel Allen. Contenders have put up and shut up. Time now to shut the curtain on a fine season. No more Indian summer. The Braves shut down a World Series reservation. Armed and on the wing, the Redbirds shut out the guest from the West. Take off, take back. The Angels shuttle up, shuttle down. But not too far down in Brewtown, Milwaukee shudders the thought. And figuring up the firsts, shutting the books on the league leaders. So snap the shutter, shut the lens. One last curtain call for this week in baseball. Chomp, chomp, Braves. Peck, peck, Redbirds. The National League Championship Series. Chimps, chumps, and champs. Game 1. The Western champion Atlanta Braves jumped ahead of the Eastern champion St. Louis Cardinals in the very first inning. 1-0 Atlanta, and so it remained until the 5th, whence came the deluge. Rain, 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 washing out a possible win for the Braves. So play it again. Game 1, one more time. No score in the third when the Redbirds' Willie McGee chose not to circle the bases, heaven knows why. The only man, said his manager Whitey Herzog, who ever ran a homer into a triple. No matter, McGee still scored. And soon after, the Cardinals scored some more, running up runs Redbird style, as was their custom all year on the home turf. Darrell Porter, less accustomed to hitting for big numbers in a Cardinal uniform, certainly hit in this pressure cooker 3 doubles and a .556 average for the Championship Series MVP. And there were other prize efforts. Atlanta owner Ted Turner caught a foul ball. And Cardinals starter Bob Forsch spun a 3-hit shutout as St. Louis took the Game 1 replay 7-0. The Cardinals also proved unflappable in Game 2. All this despite more fun from Willie McGee. Wither McGee, the ball skipped free, a 3-base error and 2 runs for the Braves. Atlanta took the lead, but the Redbird defense held it close. St. Louis trailed until the 8th when that man McGee stayed free of a DP. The Cardinals scored the tying run, and Joe Torre didn't like the end of the story either. David Green on second, 1 away in the last of the 9th. Ken Oberkfell, the batter. Relief ace Gene Garber on the mound. Four to 3, St. Louis, and a 2-0 lead in games. Game 3 in Atlanta. Chief Nakahoma called for spirits, but Cardinal Willie McGee, with 3 hits and 3 RBIs, kept the spirit of St. Louis flying straight ahead, taking a 4-0 lead in the second inning. Starter Joaquin Andujar strong-armed Atlanta until Bruce Sutter entered to stop a rally and save the 6-2 victory. Sutter faced 12 batters in the series, got 13 outs, and the Cardinals got their 13th pennant.
We felt that Nicro was the man to beat. And we felt we could beat anybody else they threw at us, and Nicro was the man to beat. So when we beat him that second game, we felt that was the key.
You know, Whitey had him prepared, and I just wish him all the luck from here on out. But, well, you know, we didn't play the kind of baseball we were capable of playing, and we had played during the course of the year.
Now, let's turn back on the course of the year for National League leaders, beginning with Al Oliver, who had never led a league in any major category, but who at age 35 with the Expos led in 4 departments: batting average at .331, base hits, doubles, and RBIs at .109. And tying Oliver for the RBI title, Atlanta's Dale Murphy, who not only drove in 109, but also fell one shy of the home run crown won by the Mets' Dave Kingman. Kingman conked 37 to win for the second time. Other senior circuit pace setters include San Francisco's Jack the Ripper Clark, who slashed 21 game-winning RBIs for the late surging Giants. Also driving in the winning run 21 times, Keith Hernandez of the Cardinals. On the bases, Montreal's Tim Raines stole 78 to win his second straight title. And on the mound, Philadelphia's Steve Carlton stole just about every honor at age 37. Strikeouts, shutouts, complete games, innings pitched, and with a 23-11 record, was the only pitcher in the majors to win 20. However, Lefty did not win the ERA title. That went to Steve Rogers of the Expos, who posted a 2.40 while going 19-8. And looking out to the bullpen, who else but the Cardinals' Bruce Sutter, 36 saves, the fourth time he's led the league. Arresting figures all from the National League's finest. Napoleon Lajoie, possibly the best-looking man ever to play baseball, was among the first 8 inductees in baseball's Hall of Fame. Lajoie was the only player with seasons of 200 hits and 100 RBIs in both leagues until this year. Do you know who caught the nap? Stay tuned for a real scoop. American League Showdown. East meets West for a pennant. Say hello to the Eastern champion Milwaukee Brewers and the hometown Western champion California Angels. Harvey Keene's Wallbangers trying to outsock Gene Mock's Hot Brocks. And in both games in Anaheim, the Wallbangers took a California creamin'. It looked like Halo World Series for the Angels. The 18th postseason homer for Reggie Jackson. For dangerous Don Baylor, a championship series record-tying 5 RBIs in the first game, won by the Angels 8-3, and 10 RBIs altogether. Profitable numbers for the lowest-paid Angel in the starting lineup. And from Fred Lynn, a barrage of hits. 5 for 8 in the first 2 games, and 11 base hits overall to tie the championship series record. And there was also some vintage Lynn in center field. In fact, all the Angels looked sound and seasoned in their opening victories. The Brew Crew was off on the wrong foot, except for Bigfoot, reliever Pete Ladd, who took a big step forward for Milwaukee's Raleigh fingerless bullpen. Ladd struck out the side in 1 inning, and all 3 were former MVPs. A better-known Brewer lad, Paul Molitor, got his own footloose opportunity thanks to Fred Lynn. Good golly, Mr. Molly, a 2-run inside the Parker. Still, Milwaukee needed more, but couldn't get it. Tommy John allowed 3 runs in 3 innings of the opener, but then settled down with 6 shutout innings, giving him a 4-0 record in championship series play. Even more in season, Bruce Keeson, who won 4-2 in the second game, to also make him 4-0, and 32-8 in September and October. And that was that, a two-game jump for the Angels. And so, as the series resumed for Game 3 in Milwaukee, a chance for the Brewers to truly test their colors, since no team has ever recovered from 2 games down to win. Don Sutton, who saved the division title, saved the Brewers from getting swept with a gritty third-game win. Suddenly, momentum was swinging Milwaukee's way. Moose Haas, who hadn't started in a month, followed with 5 1/3 innings of no-hit ball. The rain started, the no-hitter stopped, but nothing could dampen the true blue cheer of the back-on-track Brew Crew bats. Tommy John, moved up a day early in Gene Mauch's rotation, was rather out of control in the 4th game, and at times so were the Angels. A 3-run, 2-error single, but there were surprise gifts for both sides. Do not interfere for a souvenir, so say the rules, but in Game 3, it was home run California, or so said the umpire. Interference, said the Brewers, who still won despite their own fans. Milwaukee also won the next game, despite Don Baylor, who smashed an 8th-inning grand slam to reduce the Brewer lead to 7-5 and throw a scare into Brewtown. But thanks to Mark Brohard, Milwaukee's diehards soon breathed a little easier. A 2-run homer in the bottom of the 8th that made the score 9-5. 3 hits, 3 RBIs, and 4 runs in the game for Brohard, who hadn't played in 4 weeks. And to top it off, a tumbling catch to end the game. So some unlikely heroes helped make Milwaukee manage with the series tied and 1 game to go. Game 5, Christmas in October? Had the tide fully swayed the Brewers' way? Not if Fred Lynn could help it. He put the Angels ahead in the 1st inning and then put them ahead again in the 3rd. A record .611 batting average for the series MVP. In the 4th, Bob Boone laid down a specialty. Suicide squeeze, or little ball, as Gene Mauch calls it, 3-1 California. But in the Brewer 4th, Ben Ogilvy, playing hurt, got 1 back on a changeup. Call it long ball, or perhaps even going, gone. Angels 3, Brewers 2. In the 5th, Lynn singled again as the Angels tried to stretch their lead. But rightfully, Charlie Moore said, "No, sir," and nailed Reggie Jackson. In the 7th, Louis Sanchez, in relief of Bruce Keeson, caught trouble. Bobby Grich couldn't quite catch it, and Brew Crew fever was rising. A little later, it was 2 outs, the bases loaded with Brewers, and the fateful moment of truth at hand. Cecil Cooper, repeatedly frustrated throughout the series, had 1 last chance to make good, and he did. Oh, so good for Milwaukee, as 2 runs scored for a 4-3 lead. In the 8th, defensive replacement Marshall Edwards saved the lead, as did Pete Ladd in relief in the 9th. The never-through Brew Crew, the first to come back from 0-2.
Today's victory is typical of our season. Heart and character, and coming back when you think we're down and out, and proving once again that the Brewers is our winners.
I've always envisioned trying to wear one of those pretty rings on my finger since I was about 5 years old, and now we have a chance to go for that ring.
All right, now looking back at the '82 season and the American League leaders. For Willie Wilson of the Royals, his first batting title, a .332 average to edge Robin Yount by a single base hit. For Reggie Jackson of the Angels, his fourth home run crown at the age of 36. 2 home runs in the last 2 days gave Reggie 39 and a tie with Milwaukee's Stormin' Gorman Thomas. The second home run crown for Gorman. The Brewers easily led the majors in homers, runs, and total bases. Robin Yount was another reason. Rockin' Robin led in slugging percentage and was the first American League shortstop to do so. Also led in hits, doubles, and total bases. A hands-down winner in stolen bases, Oakland's Rickey Henderson with 130. In game-winning RBIs, California's Don Baylor rang the bell 21 times, and that's a record. In victories, Chicago's Dewey Lamar Hoyt, early streaking and late peaking. 19 wins, 15 losses. In saves, down under Dan Quisenberry with 35 on behalf of the Royals. In strikeouts, Seattle's Floyd Bannister with 209, and the Mariners overall had 1,002. In ERA, Rick Sutcliffe, a comeback surprise for Cleveland at 2.96. And finally, Toronto's Dave Stieb, #1 in the league in complete games, innings pitched, and shutouts. All categorically tops in the American League. Here's the scoop in case you didn't know. Al Oliver, playing for Texas in 1980, rapped out 209 hits and drove in 117 runs. Some cool numbers for someone often overlooked. Then, after being traded this season to Montreal, Oliver got 204 hits and 109 RBIs. The only player other than Nat Lajoie with 200 hits and 100 RBIs in both leagues. A dupe for the scoop.
Introducing
A fun time review of '82. Another season on ice. And what can you say? Sometimes can't say anything. You're just struck dumb. Still, certain star-crossed memories should linger and hang on through the winter. Many unforgettable moments, like this. Hey, man, where'd he go? Where did he go? Or what goes over here? Sometimes even a no-go. There were memories entertaining, but sometimes uneventful. Sometimes painful. And sometimes heads up, but not so heads up. 1982, a wild and crazy year. Yes, enough said and enough seen. Still, some things must be re-seen to be believed. Top-rated plays of the year, so take them away. news of the season. And now the Oakland A's Rickey Henderson, recipient of 1982's Gillette Special of the Year. Running in a league all by himself, Henderson demolished Lou Brock's single-season stolen base record with single-minded resolve and daring.
My manager at the beginning of the season when we was in spring training, Billy Martin, told me that, you know, hey, we're going to break the record this year. So he gave me a lot of confidence in myself, and he believed in me.
130 this season and 319 at age 23. Congratulations, Rickey. That's all for this year, folks. See you next year on This Week in Baseball.